Daniel Kaven, Portland-based architect, artist, and co-founder of Kaven Architecture, visits the lounge to discuss his new book, The Architecture of Normal, and how the evolution of transportation has shaped the future of the built environment. Join us as we talk about the rapidly changing infrastructure supporting residential and commercial architecture, as well as where the future of technology and new modes of transportation may lead.
So this photograph, this is New York in the early 1900s.
Okay.
And this is New York after cars.
So it's almost like every mode of transportation deserves an entirely new infrastructure.
Yeah. I mean,
Right? How do you remove existing infrastructures?
Look at the kind of thing that happens in Los Angeles from freeways.
Yeah.
I mean, they ripped up entire neighborhoods and things like that, in order to accommodate the car to move quickly.
When you are reactive to modes of transportation, you then create things that are cohesive to that environment. You're slow to then change the next mode of transportation, right? Like they're too invested.
Yes, and that's so here's Route 66 in Albuquerque, near where I grew up. And it looks very different today. But the signs and all the crazy collateral around that is really wild. And in some ways, this also, this has social implications too, because this is like the Instagram of the 1960s. Mm-hmm. It's like you drove down here, you discovered products, you maybe saw your friends driving, cruising around, pull over, do things. And that's what Instagram is, like this death scroll, like cruising down the street these days. The experience of going from point A to point B is becoming kind of irrelevant.
Obsolete.
And the same. Yeah. Right?
Well, and the art of discovery has changed. To your point, how we discover things now is different. And it affects so many things, obviously, with the ability to look at your phone and be transported in a way to a place you can never reach. But then that changes the destination getting there, but that also changes the experience of what you expect when you get there.
And the experience between the two places, that is what is sort of evaporating.
Yeah.
In the evolution to autonomous cars or into flying cars, that's going to get even worse because you're not even going to be operating those cars.
Yeah.
So people will get into cars or get into their flying car, they're going to plug in a location, and then they're going to get back on their phone the whole time because you don't even have to operate it anymore. How much do we want to erode the urban experience? I mean, are we really just going to become a place where you're here or you're there, but the in-between stuff
doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
We talked about with the pandemic being isolated and how that's changed how we see our internal, how we live. How do you see design now being impacted because of the technology, because of transportation, but also with the isolation over the last 18 to 24 months? How do you see that affecting design in the next 5 to 10 years?
The number one thing that I see, and I already see this in my projects, is that our clients don't want retail in their projects. So all these mixed use projects, everybody is trying to, we're building apartment buildings. They don't want retail on the bottom of them. They want to figure out how to put housing there.
Okay.
And what I tremendously think is we need to get really serious about thinking about a society in which we don't have stores in the bottom of our buildings. Anywhere. I mean, you see that here. You'll be walking around and see a lot of empty storefronts. And, people just are getting on their phone, ordering from Amazon, essentially, and getting it delivered to their house. And there's some very serious repercussions that come with that I think we really need to reevaluate. The reckoning is here of does retail make sense? When you're going to open a business, you're surely going to be competing with some online behemoth of a company. And do you want to risk it?
Yeah.
But we as designers and we as a society need to really get serious. Do we just want to have everything delivered to us, or do we want to be able to walk around and experience some of these places?
So is that your stance in that we need to have retail spaces, I would imagine?
I think living in a society in which you can't walk into a business and have an unexpected experience is pretty depressing. I mean, really what's happening right now is people still want to go out to eat. So restaurants, hair salons, people are not getting Amazon to cut their hair.
For now.
For now, yeah. COVID was the ultimate test of it all. It sort of sped things up.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, we're going to take technology and we're just going to like ramp it up in a matter of weeks.
Literally.
But these like, you know, stores that just sell clothes or like, you know, they're trying to get foot traffic in there. I mean, it is a challenge. And, you know, our autonomous cars and flying cars and different modes of transportation going to help those things? We need to ask ourselves those questions.
Yeah, I mean, those, I think, and there's so many levels because retail, as we know, it has forever changed, right? And what's interesting about technology, in my eyes, from a fashion background, is you see companies that start direct to consumer, and they still feel, in a way, they need the validation of having a brick and mortar location.
Yes.
Right? So you have that as well. You have both sides. You have traditional brick and mortar companies that are trying to adjust to a mobile environment. And then you have businesses that are born and raised and created out of a mobile environment, but still feel the need to have a brick and mortar. And it's at that crossroads that I feel we're going to see whatever the new birth of retail, whatever it's going to look like. There's all these different questions. I feel like you posed a lot. So tell us more about the book. When is it coming out? I know it's like pre-order right now. Should be available.
The book is available right now.
456 pages.
456 pages. You can buy it at Powell's. You can buy it at Amazon, Walmart, Target.
Can you buy it only in store or online?
No, you can buy it on our website. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no place is only selling it only in the store, right?
Yeah.
And it's available in Europe too. It's published by Burkhauser, who's a Swiss art and design publisher. The craft of the book is really beautiful.
Oh yeah,
it's cloth covered.
Looks amazing.
Yes, you're going to have only 1 minute. All right, here we go. And
We can.
My World Trade Center. I think I gotta keep going.
Oh my! If that would have stayed up, I would have been in the vicinity. Well, and so here I think I needed like a foundation,
right? Yeah.
and I'm like building, I'm like looking at the beginning. I'm like, this is gonna be like wide enough so I can get like.
It's literally
Stopping there. That's as high as you can go.
That's.
I love it.
There you go, right there,
Well done.
right there.
Well done.
So let me ask you then before we go. Do you have other books in you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm already working on another one. One is germinating right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get no sneak peeks, no
It's
no gray, no in the design lounge.
I'm working on a project that is about the evolution of the single family residence. We do a lot of high-end single family homes that they're like, the single family home is like kind of the thing that you just can't quit or something.
Yeah.
I mean, as a designer, I mean, like there's just a lot of me that is about urbanism and creating, you know, beautiful buildings and things like that. But the single family residence, you know, just is beautiful to design and experience, you know. And that's why there's been so many of them built, is people love living in them.
When it comes to you taking on projects, what's that? What is that conversation like?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we do a theoretic in terms of square footage, we do way more apartments than we do single family residences.
Okay.
We do a lot of housing, and a lot of the housing that we do, isn't by governmental standards considered affordable housing, but it is affordable housing because they're much smaller footprints. They're, kind of targeted at, the middle range of the market. So we do a lot of that. And then also just on the single family side, I'd have a moment of pause for doing some really large house that just feels like way out of scale. And I like to think that we have a pretty restrained approach for what our recommendations to our clients is, things that feel like they're a good fit for humanity.
So like I said, it's out now. Another book coming. We'll get the preview when it's ready.
Yeah.
In the Design Lounge season 4 or 5, we'll see what it is. Can we cheers?
Yeah.
Cheers, yes.